Well, Easter is right around the corner, and that means all the spring decor is making its way out on display.
And while you can find lots of cute things in store, nothing is better than a little DIY project, which is why I brought my mom in today, Jill Rademacher, who I like to refer to as a pro crafter. I was actually at home about a week ago, and I saw these cute little eggs sitting all around, and I said, "Mom, where did you get those?" And she says, "I made them." And I was like, "That's it. You're coming on the show."
Mom's coming on TV.
Because everyone else is going to want to know how to put it together. So, Mom.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Your debut.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So tell us a little bit about the little eggs that you've been making.
Well, these are your Easter gifts, so
perfect.
just a spoiler alert.
Perfect.
There's a couple different segments. These here that Rachel really liked were the wooling. I've been doing these since I was a child. But the wooling is kind of a new technique, and so you take different types of wool, like this, in bundles, and just little segments, not much at all. And you basically, I like to use the styrofoam, so I cover the whole thing myself and build, this is how that looks after it's all done. And then you add all the embellishments, all
How do you
the
get
little
it to
things.
stick to the
Well,
styrofoam ball?
that's the tricky part. I would recommend watching your fingers, because you got this tool here, and you just do this.
And as you said during the commercial, that Rachel stays far away from the sharp objects.
I did.
I had to bring
said,
that back up.
Yeah, I just want to make sure
Yeah.
we all
Have you
knew
heard
that.
that?
I
Yeah.
said it's probably best to let Bill do this segment because you just lightly, you don't have to stab it through, and definitely don't watch anything while you're doing it on TV because you end up, piercing your fingers.
Yeah.
But let you try it a little bit and see what you think.
So I'll do that, and then why don't you
Yes.
take us down the kitchen counter for the next thing for Rachel?
Yeah, so we have the
Sure.
painted ones too, which are
Yes.
my personal favorite.
Yeah, they're a little bit more creative and stuff. Usually on Easter weekend, we would what they call put the eggs out, do coloring. People would roll them in the vinegar and food coloring and stuff.
dip 'em.
And you'd put the holes on either ends and blow the insides out. And these are actually Nambop eggs when you brought me those. So it was
Yeah.
kind of
Oh,
nice
nice.
that I put those together, and you can do different little artifacts on those. But the blowing eggs or the painted eggs, I really like to use this paper mache. They come pre-painted. So Rachel, why don't you pick a color?
Oh, I'm going to go with the pink.
Okay,
Of
and
course.
you basically just use these little watercolor temperas you can get at any craft store. And you can either pre-draw your pattern on. I do freelancing, things like that, but Rachel's pretty creative. And you can just draw on flowers, you can
Yeah.
do bunnies,
Where do you get your inspo? Because I know you have so many of the painted ones that you do, and I am always in awe of them.
I just like, sometimes I'll zoom on Pinterest a little bit, or
Yeah.
if you see different patterns, sometimes the holiday napkins can give you some really cool ideas
Oh,
as
yeah.
well. So you can mimic some of the flowers. And if you're not creative when coming up with those ideas, you can always do something as simple as this, a decoupage. And this is basically a napkin. It's an Easter napkin, and the secret behind that is pulling it apart because it's 2-ply. So you have just the thin layer, and then you just kind of tear the portion. Keep it rough. Don't cut it with scissors. Tear it. That's how that bunny got on this little front area here.
Oh, okay.
And what I usually do is I just take a little brush and put a little water on the egg. I lay this on it so it stays on there. And then I just put the decoupaging in for
And
any
then it
of
kind
you
of
that
absorbs.
yeah, it kind of absorbs and it creates this either matte or glossy finish.
Oh.
So that's a real simplified version versus trying to paint the intricate. But look at Rachel.
A little flower.
She's got that beautiful flower. She's
I'm
a
no
daisy
Jill
girl.
Rademacher. I didn't get the painting gene, but I
Well.
got the talking gene from her.
Yeah.
So
she
at least
got
we
that
have that.
part.
But
Definitely.
that's
Right,
why.
Oh, so it's your fault.
It's my
It's-
fault.
it's my
Sorry.
mom's
wow.
fault.
Okay.
Sorry.
But
Yes.
this is a great idea for, like you said, someone who's not like really into the painting or maybe doesn't have the time to do it. How's Bill doing over here?
I
honestly,
didn't hear any ouch or blood spewing out. So
honestly,
that's
I'm
a good thing.
impressed.
I know I haven't gotten that far yet, but we're getting there.
That's the hardest part. The biggest, I think the easier way to go would be to get the pre-done wool balls.
Is that
or
what those are?
eggs,
Oh, okay.
Or
Those
yeah,
are
people do
pre-done?
these
Okay.
as ornaments too at Christmas time.
You spoiled it. I was going to come back in about 2
With a
minutes
really-
and say, look what I
like-
did.
No one would believe you.
Yeah, no
We
one-
know
That's
we
okay.
know what you do there.
But
But that way you can put your design on it.
I wanted to ask too, in terms of, I don't know, maybe the age range or the level of difficulty. Would you say that the wool eggs are easier than the painting, than the I mean, where's the level of talent that this will take?
Coming up through the ranks of, my mom actually getting us into the decorating Easter eggs and coloring them and whatnot, I would say some of the easiest things are more of the adding the embellishments with glue guns, something simple like this.
That's good for kiddos.
It's
can put
good
stickers.
for kiddos.
Yeah.
You could use,
Right
glue
here.
sticks and things like that. Yeah, you could add stickers, things like that if you're using a younger age group and you want to do it. Or if you have some that you're just trying yourself, then the painted options. And then you could always just put some type of a template on there and paint
That's a
them.
good idea too, a template.
A template works really well, especially for the bigger eggs. Like these are
that's
just the ones
fun.
you can buy at a department store that you can hide the candy in, pretty
Oh, yeah,
exciting.
yeah. I
But
love
then
it.
you can also put them out on your front porch if you want to do that. So it's kind of nice to be able to have some variety. But I would say, Bill, to answer your question, the embellishment first, then the egg painting if you're creative, and then the wool.
Yeah, because it looks like Bill's
Yeah.
struggling
The
a little
wool-
bit too.
Once you
I'm
get the knack of it,
I just added this top layer. I'm
See?
still working on it.
But like these are so intricate, Mom. How long does something like this take you?
to do the whole outside base color, that took me about an hour or so to get the base in there. And then, in the evenings, I'd sit there kind of like what people do when they crochet or they
It's
knit
kind of just
or
a
things like
relaxing
that.
thing to
It's
sit there
relaxing.
and-
Don't watch a TV show when you do it because you will miss your finger.
Personal
I've done
experience.
that in personal experience.
Yeah.
But
You have
it's
Good
just,
Day playing in the background, though, maybe?
yeah,
Yeah, the
absolutely.
only Good Day, yeah.
with my coffee mug and that. But yeah, it would, depending on how intricate. I mean, some of them can get very detailed, but you can just do some daisy embellishments and things like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't take that long. So a couple hours for one egg, I would say.
I love all of the eggs, but I think these ones will always be my personal favorite because it reminds me of childhood. We'd always had these sitting around.
Yes.
And you've been doing them for a while.
Yeah,
so.
there's a couple 35-year-old eggs in here. This is an old 35-year-old. This is an old 35-year-old. Some of the
Wow.
originals that
Those eggs are older than Rachel.
I
I
know. These are ones I started with my
I had
mom.
to throw that in there too, Bill. Didn't you?
Yes.
This is
So-
why we can't invite my family to do segments.
And that's the question that a lot of people will say, well, how do they stay good? Don't they get
Yeah.
bad inside? And they don't. They dry right out. You don't have to worry about any odors or things like that. It's just it's a real easy process. But now that the world has created things like this
papier-mâché
with your
ones.
paper mache, who needs to go through the bother of trying
the
to
real
get
eggs.
these?
Right.
Because sometimes when you're trying to do that, it's like born headaches
Yeah.
by trying to get through. Rachel would always puff her cheeks out. We couldn't get her to figure out how to get that going.
Yeah, I always like to
But
have
I
someone
forgot
else
to
do
ask you
that
to bring
for me.
pictures.
I should have.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm glad we didn't get
We'll
that
save
far.
that for another segment. But
What I
yeah.
like about just this idea in general, I mean, you can decorate the eggs with your kids every year and
Yeah.
whatnot, but then you crack them open and you eat them and they're gone. Like, this is
Right.
something you can do that,
that
like
saves.
Christmas ornaments, that
Yeah.
sticks around and
Right.
you can
do
use
'em-
year after year.
See the evolution of your kids, like year after year, of how they
That's
grow
what we like.
and do.
Yeah. A little more
their own little-
creativity, a
yeah.
little more detail. And also this is a little more advanced because of the tools that you're using.
Yeah, did you hear that?
It's a little more
Little more
advanced.
advanced.
Yeah.
I can tell.
Yeah. I
Let's
just figured it might be safer.
She says it takes an hour and
I
it's
mean,
only
you
been about
almost-
4
it
minutes.
almost
It's
looks
only-
the s-
I'm getting there.
He can work on it on the
That's
break.
what we'll be doing the rest of Good Day. Is
Yeah,
just
he'll be-
sitting there.
Yeah,
Well,
pushing
this
it in there.
Is
I'll still
so
be doing
fun.
this next Easter too.
Yeah. You'll get faster, Bill. Practice. It takes time.
Right.
My Easter meatballs is what I'm doing.
See, there you go. Or,
I love
or
it.
save it for Christmas.
Oh,
it
there
can be
you
a
go.
Christmas ornament
Might
if you
take
want
me
to do
that
seasonally.
Yeah, it might take me
Yeah.
that long to finish
Yeah.
up. So
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Mom,
Oh,
for
my
coming
pleasure.
in and showcasing
Yeah.
your incredible talent.
Oh.
These are all such great ideas and things you can do at home. You can get a lot of these things probably at any craft store.
Any craft store, hobby store, things like that. There's some
Amazing.
different resources online. So yeah, pretty easy access.
Awesome.
And watching a YouTube video here and there for dangerous tools or things, techniques
Yep.
might help. Bill.
Yeah, there you go.
keep these away from Rachel.
Yes.
All the sharp
sharp
things away.
things. Yes.
Well, thank you so much, Mom, and
Thank
we'll have
you.
this posted on our website at 910news.com if you want to reference it to get all your Easter decor ready in time.